we can't change the bylaws at this point until we would write up, a draft of a change to bylaws to have these type of meetings. But based on the standing recommendation from the various government entities and the fact that we did every effort to try and get together, we can't meet at headquarters, and we can't have, I think it's more than 3 people in a meeting. This Zoom video conference is going to take place of us being in person. And as I mentioned before, I'm keeping track of attendance. I will bring all the attendance sheets in when we can finally get together and have everybody sign them so that we are keeping track of everything for all things. So can I make a motion to approve the minutes from the March 9th meeting? Somebody has to unmute to second it.
I'll second.
Thank you, Bill. All in favor, say aye. So you have to unmute.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Now I can tell who's on the line, and there's no one from the public that's on the line. So as far as public comments are concerned, unless any of the staff would want to make a comment, I think we can, move on in the agenda. Okay, I'm going to mute and I'm going to turn it over to you two.
Okay, I hope everyone can hear me. As you know, we're starting into the 4th week of lockdown here at headquarters. Monday started our 4th week. Things are going pretty good. We've had about 5 or 6 approximately people who have been quarantined from here stages, but no positives have come back to us, even though they've been exposed to some positive. Some of that may have to do with the reliability of testing. Some of it may have to do with the fact that they weren't positive. I do want to say that our people responded to a suspected positive patient over the weekend. They responded properly with proper PPE and totally encapsulated. And when the person went to the hospital, it was identified that they had bed bugs. Our infectious disease coordinator, Chief Anderson, he then met with the stations and did proper cleaning and had them all isolate and take all their bedding and to sanitize, and so add insult to injury when you're dealing with this pandemic. So that brings me to the next. Unusual for St. John's is that we've had 7 people apply for unemployment where St. John's has been identified as the secondary employer since they had left St. John's in the last 18 months. Of those 7, I think total, we offered 3 to come back to St. John's because we either put them through training academy or they left on good terms with St. John's, and 1 accepted with 2 not accepting. So we were supposed to start, when we left the commission meeting the last time, we were supposed to start 5 recruits at South Carolina Fire Academy. Obviously, all classes have been suspended. So at that point, not wanting to lose all 5 recruits, we decided to start training them in-house, letting them know that potentially if we couldn't get them tested to firefighter 1 and 2, they may have to start the training academy at South Carolina in August. Of those 5, 4 accepted to stay. 1 went on his way, and if we have access to the South Carolina Fire Academy class in August, we'll put them in that class. As you probably are aware, probably on Seabrook more than anybody, that we had tornado warnings. We've had at least some type of impact on Kiowa and Seabrook. It looks like there was a swath cut. Basically, you can see it online. It's pretty clear. There was some damage on Kiowa, on Seabrook. Some houses on trees, a lot of trees down. I think it tore the roof off the sanitation building. But our people were out first thing this morning doing damage assessments and trying to make sure that everybody was safe and that no one was hurt. So we sent our chiefs up there in the small cars and they started doing their assessments. We put 2 vehicles. We tried to put 2 vehicles on Gov Deals if anybody's working there either. So that's been delayed because one of the people that we normally dealt with as our agent is no longer employed by Gov Deals. The 2 vehicles were the Charger and the Crown Vic that we wanted to put up for sale on Gov Deals. So, let me see. Oh, I updated the Finance Committee the other day that the issue with the checks that we had has been resolved. We could talk about that in executive session to our satisfaction. Do we have the status report, Chief Gilcrease?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please do.
Hello, everybody. This is awkward. I don't know which screen to look at. Okay. So in the month of March, St. John's answered the call 263 times. Johns Island accounted for 158. Guatemala had 26. Kiowa Island had 53, and Seabrook had 26. Chief, did you send this to them by any chance? Did you email it?
But we can.
Okay, I'll just go through real quick. I know you guys don't have copies. My apologies on that. No, I didn't. Yeah, it was too late. I'm sorry. But I just wanted to let y'all know. So I did the run up for the totals for the first quarter. The first quarter auto aid received and auto aid given to. We received auto aid 207 calls, and we gave auto aid 221 times. Our response times in seconds for the first quarter, CDC call processing time was an average of 57 seconds per call in the first quarter. St. John's turnout time was 55 seconds on average. That's throughout the whole district for the first quarter. And our travel time for the entire first quarter, for the entire district rather, was 5:33, which equates to about 8 minutes and 50 seconds. So I just wanted to pass that along to y'all. That's all I had.
Thank you.
Okay. Ryan, I know we don't have much since the last meeting, since we haven't been able to do any smoke detector installs, although we have done a couple.
Yeah, are we getting feedback from that? There we go. Yes, good evening. We have suspended in early March our Citizen Safe program and car seats, and we're only doing them on an emergency basis right now. But I think we did complete about 10 installs in the month of March as it was. So do you want me to go over that? You want me to get over that PowerPoint, Chief?
Yes.
Okay. So real quick, I'm going to try to share this real quick here with you all. So if everybody can hear me here, let me see. We should be able to see. Commissioner Lehman, can you see the PowerPoint screen?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Sorry, she cut out there on that. Yes, okay. So let me go through just some of these pictures real quickly here from down on Kiowa Island. This is that sewer storage facility that's down on Kiowa off of Sora Railroad, I believe, that had quite a bit of sheet metal that was torn off of its roof, and some of it was even blown over by Station 4. This is looking out by Station 4 there, so you can see the sheet metal on the floor there and everything on the ground as well there. So I'm just going through. The next few photos are just from some trees down on Kiowa, and this is what you kind of expected. This was through the Sora Rail area and surrounding right around it. So just some of those trees and tree branches down. Next one here was a light post that had fallen as well. Next couple photos here are from Seabrook Island as well. We had a few trees down on some vehicles. This was Fox Lair Court, which was hit very hard. There was another Jeep down at the end of the street that was demolished by a tree as well. But all through the Camp St. Christopher High Hammock area, Bent Twig had a lot of trees down and trees leaning on houses as well. This is Seabrook Island Road and High Hammock with a large tree there. And as you can see, there's still some more additional trees down as well. We had a couple crews out clearing trees in these areas. And then I was on Seabrook Island specifically, and this just shows kind of the area where it went through from Camp St. Christopher to Bentwig and over to the lookout area there. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Thank you.
Okay, I will turn
Thanks,
it back
Ryan.
over to Chief Walls here.
Thank you, Ryan. Anybody got any questions on that? I did want to say we ran into one issue first thing this morning with the sheriffs on Kiowa. I mean, they had good intentions, obviously. They were calling in all the trees that were done, and that's not normally how we handle things such as this. And I had just sent a text to the mayor to have them start writing the locations down, but not call them into Charleston County 911 all at once, because we first needed to make sure that there was anybody who needed help or aid, that we went to them first. And then we addressed the trees as on a priority basis as, you know, what we should open up, obviously. And so we try to use a systematic process, getting things back up and running. But our first priority is first to make sure that everybody is okay in their homes, that they weren't hurt or injured, if there are any trees into their homes or on top of cars that people had. And so that was one little glitch, but we're going to try to work it out with the sheriffs. You know, last year we never had them permanently stationed on Kiowa. So, but just, you know, everything's a learning curve. With that, I think I'm done for.
Okay, so is Sue there? Is Sue available for the financial report?
Yes, I am. I'm here. I'm at the office, but I'm in my own in my office. Did you want me to turn on the video, or I'm okay without it?
I mean, we all got a copy of the highlight.
Could you hear me? Because I had mine turned down all the way. Could you hear me, Ryan?
I don't know. You can't hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear
Okay.
you now.
Okay. I was wondering if you want me to get into the video mode, or I'm okay just saying do you want me to? I just want to make sure.
I mean, that's up to you, Sue, as long as you go. over-
Okay.
Try to get into the video now. I'll mute me. There you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
we saw you briefly.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. The March financial reports are at the end of the month of March. Our budget remaining goal is 25%, and at this time we are about 32%. So we are, you know, in a positive way. We are good with our budget, and it does not include accruals. So. But again, the accruals will not be a big difference either. So the bank balances, the operating balance is 9.5 million. LGIP is at 11,554. March miscellaneous collections were at 6,060, and wire transfer from the Charleston County for March was 279,925. So which leaves us about I mean, you know, 1% of balance remaining for the fiscal year, about 1.14%. So that's pretty good. So we do have the revenue that we need to complete the end of this fiscal year. The year-to-date overtime non-standard as of March 31 is at 191,577. The bond balance, the 2017 bond is at 112. Okay, and the 2018 is at 8,087,837. So I just wanted to let you know that the 2017 bond is zeroed out. You know, it got zeroed out this month. So just wanted to let you know that. Any questions on the financials?
Ryan, you want to put up her dashboard? Sue, we're going to put up your dashboard so that they can see it, those online.
Oh, okay, perfect. So I can explain that. So the this is the monthly dashboard that we had. It's been a trial run, but I think it's getting more defined at this time. So actually, I have to change that. It's not February. It's supposed to be March. So that's a mistake. But the March financial data is on the first column. So the property tax revenue that I mentioned was at 280,000. Our operating expenditure for March was at 1.6 million. The operating cash flow is the operating cash that we have, which is at 9.5. Bond, again, cash flow is at 8.1. The non-standard overtime for the month itself is about 38 compared to what we had in the previous month. It was 26. So we had a little bit of increase, and that's obviously because of the COVID and the extra time that we needed. And if you see the vacation, FMLA pay, bereavement, all those are at 33,000. The previous month was at 36. The salary and the standard overtime was about 579,000 compared to 545 from the previous month. The staff efficiency is at 89%, and that is based upon our salary and the standard overtime, and you need to remove the vacation time. So that basically shows our staff efficiency. The monthly HR dashboard, this is the information that Valerie provides us every month. It basically shows what our current requirements on the HR, on our staffing requirements are. For officers, our staffing requirement is 21, and we are currently fully staffed. Engineers are 33, and right now we have 31 as of March. Firefighters, 66. Our current staff is 61. Admin remains 19, and we are fully staffed. So currently our staffing needs is a total of 7. Recruiting updates that Valerie also provided was 4 recruit firefighters, offers accepted. Start date was in March, and they were, they are in-house due to the COVID-19. 2 experienced firefighters, offers accepted. They also started working this month. Did you have any questions? And then I also have in the dashboard, if you see, I also have the 2018-19 comparison. So if you look at the year to date, that the property tax revenue that you got, Ryan, yeah, thank you. We are at 14, no, not the, can you go back to the dashboard, please? Yes, so the year to date, if you go up a little bit, I just wanted to show the third column. Perfect, thank you. So the third column, if you see the property tax we have year to date is 14 million. So, our current budget was for the property tax revenue was 14,193,000. So we are very close to what we are supposed to get. And most of the rest of the year, we would basically have the motor vehicles and the property taxes. But again, the good thing is, even though we are about 1%, we are expecting only 1% of the revenue from for this fiscal year. That's a great thing. At least we have money to get through this fiscal year. Operating expenditures, we are a little higher, and that's because our budget was higher than last year. Operating cash flow, it's the same as what we have in cash balances. And then I think the non-standard overtime, again, if you see, 2018, we were really very high in our overtime budget for non-standards, and now we are at 192, so which is really great. So that basically explains our efficiency in staffing. Any questions on the dashboard?
Good job.
Yeah, I don't have a question, but this was very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, attorney update. Donald, do you have any updates?
First, I had to unmute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Donald.
Okay. Maybe some stuff for executive session. The only other thing that I would say is that just want to congratulate the chief and the staff and whoever got together the Zoom and the idea of putting it on YouTube so the public could see it. I mean, these are extraordinary times, but you took extraordinary measures to make this meeting as public as possible. And I just thought you did a great job. And that's all.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you.
Okay, do we have any old business to discuss? Okay, any new business to discuss?
No, I just wanted to say, to bring up to the entire group that once this was declared a national emergency, we were able to set it up like we would do like for a natural disaster, for potentially being reimbursed for some of our additional costs. And currently, some of those additional costs have been for trying to obtain additional PPE from private vendors because the national stockpile is now empty. Also, some of our people have been quarantined, so we've had to replace them with other people on overtime. The other additional is that we stood up the extra squad because it made much more sense to send out only 2 people in a squad and to be able to clean the squad, for example, what happened the other day, than having to take an entire firefighting piece of equipment out of service for that. So those are where we incurred some of the additional costs, and also cleaning supplies. So just to give you an idea of where some of those expenses went and what we would be asking for reimbursement from the federal government when that comes down to pike.
Okay. Committee reports. Bill, would you please do the building committee?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Station 6, we are still in the process of negotiating with contractor Howell & Howell for a final closeout of some items and a final invoice amount. Station 4 is moving along. Demolition is now complete. There's still some debris on the site that is in the process of being removed. The concrete slab is totally gone. They did not find any piles underneath the slab. So that's good news for construction. We don't have to work around any existing piles in order to drive the new ones. So the slab is done. The utilities are done, removed under the slab, and they're in the process now of smoothing the site and getting it ready for the piles, which will actually start next week. The construction access road adjacent to the tent, the temporary one, has actually started. They were in the process of clearing the trees out of there this afternoon. I was there about 2:30. And then there is an issue ongoing with an easement at the front of the property. We'll discuss that more in executive session. On the new maintenance building, we are continuing to investigate several options, and we'll discuss more of that in the executive session where that is. That's it.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to do the finance committee. We met on April 9th via conference call. And the first thing that we went over, and I did send a copy to everyone, but the first thing we went over was the 2021 budget. And Suchitra went over each line, which was helpful to explain everything. So if you have any questions, we can discuss that in executive session. And then when we return, I'll be making a motion to approve that. We also discussed the RFPs for the auditors, and we can discuss that in executive session if you'd like. The chief and Suchitra are basically recommending our current auditor, which is Green, Finney, and Horton. So if you have any questions, we can discuss that in executive session prior to making a motion. We just talked about some miscellaneous items, but those were really the 2 key items that we discussed in the finance committee. So I'm going to pass it on to Steve. Do you have any update for human resource?
No update. We did not have a meeting. We will schedule one soon.
Okay. And Eric, is Eric still on the line? Because I can't see him in the Zoom meeting. Okay, we must have lost Eric. We did not have a strategic planning meeting yet. I mentioned to Eric that we'll schedule one when we've gathered a little bit more information on 825 Main Road, because that's a key piece of the puzzle of updating our strategic plan and how that may or may not come into play.
Deb, Eric and Mary and Frank are now all on the phone. Eric couldn't get back on.
Okay. All right, Eric, could you hear me when I was just saying that we're gonna schedule a meeting soon?
Eric,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, good, okay. All right, my note, it doesn't appear that there's a lot of people in the room. Are there any public or firefighter comments? Okay, any commissioner comments, and I'll just kind of go around the room. Eric, do you have any comments? Okay, Bill, do you have any comments, commissioner comments?
No, I don't.
Okay. Steve, do you have any comments?
Deb, I think you called on me. I'd just like to thank everyone for all they're doing, especially today with the possible tornado. Response was fantastic. During these troubled times, please, everyone stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Leroy, do you have any comments?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I think it's about time for us to go back and talk about getting some of the individuals who are on Johns and Wamala Islands to make some type of decision on using them to help clear the roads when there's such events like the tornadoes this morning. So I guess we need to put that in our strategic plan group so we can look into getting that done.
You mean like
And-
contractors to assist?
Yes, yeah. Yes. And everyone stays safe. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, Bob, do you have any comments? Okay, Bob, I guess you don't have any comments.
No, I have no comments.
Mary, do you have any comments?
Mary, do you have any comments?
My comments to you, Chief, and your leadership, and to all the commissioners, I thank you. I bless you guys for what you're doing, and for God's sake, be safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank, do you have any comments?
Frank, you got comments?
Thank you. I just want to thank all the firefighters who are working in the district, working in these unprecedented times. With DHEC saying there's 93 possible cases in our zip code. I want to thank everybody for putting their lives at risk in work and doing a great job of proudly representing the district during this unprecedented time. So thank you, everybody, for their hard work in the district.
Thanks, Frank.
Okay, and I just want to make a comment about this morning. The tornado went right by my neighborhood. I could hear the wind roaring. And after it passed, which thank goodness it went through quickly, no sooner was it through and I heard the firefighters were out trying to open the roads. So, you know, in our local next door blog, the Seabrook Island folks were posting how much they appreciated, you know, the firefighters being so timely because, you know, some people couldn't get out because our main roads were blocked and some of our key side roads were blocked. So it was very appreciated how quickly that took place. A little scary for a few moments as it was going past our house, but I'm glad that's over. So that's all I have to say is, you know, great job. Okay, so we are going to go into executive session. So how we're going to do this is we are not going to do it on Zoom, nor are we going to do it on YouTube. What we're going to do, and the chief had put it in her email, it's basically my conference call number. And if you need that information again, please let me know before you hang up. So we're going to dial into my conference call number and then hold the executive session. And then when we come back into the general meeting, we are going to have to go back into Zoom because we have to go back into a public forum. So I know it's a little jumping around, but if you could please bear with us. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you the number to call in for the executive session and the access code just in case.
And let's go ahead and have somebody make the motion and have the vote on going into executive session, just to be.
Yeah, I was going to do
Deborah,
that as soon as I-
make the motion to go in executive session and then we can take this off of YouTube before you put the phone number out.
Oh, okay. Oh, good idea. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're going to go into executive session. I'm making a motion to discuss personnel, labor, and contractual issues.
I second.
Second.
All those in favor?
So moved.
Aye.
Aye.
Let me-
Aye.
Eric said so moved.
Aye.
They all said aye.
Okay, so instead of announcing this on Zoom, does everybody have the email that has the dial in? It starts with area